making access for responders difficult. Capital Kingston in the east of the island was spared the eye of the storm, but has still suffered significant.
Big up yourself, everybody, and one love to each and every one of you that's been here at 24 Hour Kitchen. This is a relation to the first video that came out about Jamaica. We've been trying to get hold of family members for the last 24 hours, and we've been unable to get hold of family members other than a few, and
suffered significant damage.
The fact that we take a wide turn and go around, it benefit me. I'm really sorry for who it really touched, because they're my fellow Jamaicans and we are in love. Trust me.
To move to safe areas to face this hurricane.
This hermit nation had already been experiencing a severe economic crisis, with widespread food shortages and regular power outages, worsened by US sanctions and a lack of foreign currency. Soldiers have been deployed to the regions affected, but recovery from this storm will be made all the more challenging without the kind of outside help Jamaica will receive. Neighbouring Haiti is also experiencing the peripheral effects of Melissa, with heavy rainfall and flooding reported. Authorities ordered the closure of schools and businesses on Wednesday. The UN says it will provide assistance in the coming days. The storm will now lose power as it crosses towards Bermuda and the Bahamas before heading off into the Atlantic. Scientists agree that while climate change is not expected to increase the number of hurricanes that strike each year, warmer ocean temperatures will intensify those that do form. And a warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture, meaning storms can produce heavier rainfall and flooding. Sea level rises.
Just satellite imagery showing the hurricane's path. Melissa made landfall in Jamaica on Tuesday, bringing winds of almost 300 kilometres per hour to the island. It later weakened from a Category 5 storm, but has prompted the evacuation of hundreds of thousands in Cuba. People in Jamaica, thousands of whom spent the night in shelters, are still being warned of landslides and flash flooding. The Jamaican Prime Minister has declared a disaster area and warned of devastating impacts.
The hurricane struck the island's tourist resorts, where it's thought thousands of British nationals are on holiday.
We tried to leave when we heard about it on the news, but there were no evacuation flights, so we couldn't leave. Trees are snapping all around us.
Melissa has now made landfall on the southern coast of neighbouring Cuba. Although it's been downgraded to a Category 3 storm, it's still being described as an extremely dangerous major.
Big up yourself, everybody, and one love to each and every one of you that's been here at 24 Hour Kitchen. This is a relation to the first video that came out about Jamaica. We've been trying to get hold of family members for the last 24 hours, and we've been unable to get hold of family members other than a few. And from the conversations that we've had and the response that we've had from family members in Jamaica, it has hit our community very, very hard, and that's the parish of Clarendon. One of my grand aunt's house, there's a decking, so part of her house has been decked off, so it's like a concrete slabbed roof, and then the other part of it is like a normal roof, and the winds took that away. And there's a few other family members that the winds destroyed certain parts of the house, not the whole house, but certain parts of the house. The community has been hit quite hard as well. We need to try and do our best to support the families in need right now in Jamaica. They need help in buying and putting on back their roofs and getting back into a stabilized living condition and stabilizing their homes. Also, they need food and maybe some clothes, and things have been destroyed in the hurricane as well, everyone. So please, can everyone come together and let's try and support the community of Clarendon. I know that there's other people out here supporting other parishes, but I'm from the community of Clarendon, and we're going to try and focus on that community as well as all the other communities around Jamaica as well. I have family members there in that community, so that's where we're going to be tackling where family members are, and also where other individuals have family members as well that are aware of this channel and aware of this movement. Let's try and get hold of your family members. Let's try and support them. Let's try and collect some funds so that we can send some monies to the families back home in Jamaica. Every little helps everybody, and let's see if we can send some barrels as well back to the families and also to the communities that need it. The schools, the hospitals, the public sector needs a lot of support right now in Jamaica. The infrastructure of Jamaica right now has been tarnished by the hurricane, and it needs outside committees to get involved, and there are individuals from international parties, international backgrounds that are in more stabilized positions. We need all of you guys to come together and help Jamaica and help the families that are facing this hardship, especially at this time of year. It's hit them hard. Do you know what I mean? And we need to do as much as we can do, everyone. We're here in the UK and we're helping families around the UK that's facing homelessness. But this mission here has cried out to me to support those that are in need in Jamaica right now. So yes, reach out to me, please, and let's see what we can do, and let's see if we can send some barrels, and let's see if we can gather up some funds together to send to some of the families back home to help them to put back the roofs back on their houses as well. Everybody, yeah. One love.
Of that, it brought heavy winds and rain to Jamaica. CBS News correspondent Jason Allen rode out this historic storm in Kingston, Jamaica. He's now getting a first-hand look at the damage. Jason, good morning. What was last night like, and what does the daylight bring?
Good morning, Errol. It was another long night for people in Jamaica, because even as the storm moves past the island, the backside of it was still bringing really extreme winds. There was rain that was falling, heavy rain, well into the night, and so people didn't get a lot of sleep. Now, in the capital city of Kingston, the power is on, and as we moved across this morning, we didn't see extensive damage. Now, as we move further west, and that's what we're doing this morning, we're here in Old Harbor, no power here. We hear generators running, and we know from talking to locals, it gets worse the farther west that you go, which is what we're doing today.
And what, Jason, are officials saying about infrastructure? I know you mentioned power is out in so many places. Any idea of the assistance needed?
Yeah, well, there's power. We know some of the water systems have failed. We know that there is likely going to be some minimal damage to buildings from Kingston and in those areas just to the west. But there, out that direction towards Santa Cruz and Black River, it's extensive. We talked a little bit to the Prime Minister yesterday about that. Here's what he told us.
There's scarcely any building or infrastructure that would escape without some form of damage. We have budgeted and we have prepared a certain level of response, but a Category 5 would require support from the international community.
Yeah, and so you hear that, it's going to be devastation, and I really don't think that we have realized the full impact of it yet. We're not going to get a better sense of that until the day goes on today.
And that was going to be my final question to you, Jason. You know, did Kingston at least avoid the worst of this, but you're going to continue to push west and see what you find?
Yeah, Kingston did avoid the worst of this, and the big difficulty today, of course, to see what we find, Errol, and this is for aid groups too and assistance groups, it's just going to be access getting into these places. All right, last night, a lot of these roads in and out were flooded. We don't know the condition of those roads this morning, so even just getting there to assess the damage is going to be the first hurdle that everybody has to overcome. The good news is, with power on in Kingston, that probably means that the airport will get open sooner rather than later. That'll be very, very important to getting that much needed aid here into the country.
All right, Jason, we will stay close to your reporting as you discover more. Joining us from Kingston. Jason, thanks. Meteorologist Rob Marciano is back with us again, tracking the storm's path. Rob, millions of people are still at risk from Melissa.
They are, and I can tell you if you think back to Hurricane Maria and how mountainous Puerto Rico is, the road structure there better than Jamaica. That's how challenging it's going to be, like Jason said. So that's our worry here. I think flyovers is probably what the first thing they're going to do today to kind of assess some of that damage. But the western part of Jamaica, certainly devastated. Now the eastern part of Cuba is where the storm is making landfall just a few hours hours ago overnight as a Category 3 storm, so a formidable major hurricane. The mountains here are tearing it apart a little bit, but the rainfall is certainly being squeezed out of that. Now, to put things in perspective, just how strong Melissa was, it ties for the strongest Atlantic landfalling hurricane on record. Dorian in 2019 in the Bahamas, Labor Day storm, that's the Florida Keys in 1935, 185 mile per hour, just a devastating blow here to the western part of Cuba. All right, we do have hurricane watches and warnings that remain up. The rainfall is going to be a big issue still to come. Another 10 to 20 inches here in the mountains. So flooding and mudslides certainly going to be an issue. And then we've got the warnings that are posted here. So the track is going to bring it through the Bahamas, but kind of splits the main part of the Turks and Caicos and the main part of the Bahamas. So just some of the smaller islands of the Bahamas, they're going to get hit hard today for sure. And then ejecting up towards Bermuda. Hurricane watch is there for potentially a Category 1 storm coming into that area. So we've got the warnings that are posted for the Bahamas and left over here in Cuba. The storm surge is going to continue to come into Cuba. And our Guantanamo Bay military base there certainly affected by that. But the good news is that this is going to be brought off towards the east because of a trough that's on the East Coast. It does mean a kind of a miserable next couple of days for the eastern half of the country in the way of rainfall, but the winds here will be remaining offshore. We won't get a direct strike here in the U.S., but a little bit of Melissa in the way of some rain and kind of amplifying the winds on the East Coast tomorrow. We'll feel that. But
yes, everyone. So what I've done as well is gathered a lot of the different news articles so that you guys can get an inside idea of what's been going on. I spoke to a few family members and just two, when I say a few, so it's not a lot, just two, and that's through me being with my mum today and checking in, and we've been trying to get hold of family members, and we was able to speak to my mum's auntie, which is my grand aunt, and she was letting us know what has gone on, and it has hit the parish of Clarendon hard. And where we come from a place called Mason River. Check it out, everybody. If you ever heard of the district of Mason River, situated around the town called Kellets. You understand? When I was in Jamaica previously this year, I was able to go to 3 to 4 different schools and help the children from those schools. We would really like to support those schools right now and aid them in whatever help that we can, everyone. Yeah, so please get in contact with me, whether it's via email, through my channel. Reach out, please, and let's see what we can do for Jamaica in the sense of also for the schools. Remember the previous videos of me going to the schools and cooking and helping the children. We need to make sure that every single one of those children are safe and their families are also safe. You understand, people? Yeah. So yeah, man, one love to each and every one of you. Good vibes. Let's keep the good energy and keep the good spirit up.
Latest satellite imagery showing the hurricane's path. Melissa made landfall in Jamaica on Tuesday, bringing winds of almost 300 kilometers per hour to the island. It later weakened from a Category 5 storm, but has prompted the evacuation of hundreds of thousands in Cuba. People in Jamaica, thousands of whom spent the night in shelters, are still being warned of landslides and flash flooding. The Jamaican Prime Minister has declared a disaster area and warned of devastating impacts. Our correspondent Nick Johnson has our top story.
The power of Hurricane Melissa, the strongest storm to hit Jamaica since records began. Roads reduced to rivers, trees uprooted, roofs stripped from buildings. At its peak, winds reached more than 185 miles per hour. Up to 30 inches of rain was forecast. More than 500,000 Jamaicans have been left without power.
Right across the country, almost every parish is experiencing block road, fallen trees, utility poles, and excess flooding in many communities. Jamaica has gone through what I can call one of its worst periods.
Melissa made landfall in the southwest of the island at about midday local time yesterday. Footage uploaded by Jamaican police shows swathes of damage in the St. Elizabeth region where the hurricane came ashore. Residents of the island's capital, Kingston, speak of their relief that the city avoided a direct hit.
The fact that we take a wide turn and go around, it benefit me. I'm really sorry for who it really touched, because they're my fellow Jamaicans and we all love right? And you know our motto, Tamilian people, we are one.
The hurricane struck the island's tourist resorts, where it's thought thousands of British nationals are on holiday.
We tried to leave when we heard about it on the news, but there were no evacuation flights, so we couldn't leave. Trees are snapping all around us, as you can see down here.
So basically what we've done, we've put the mattress up against the window to try and protect ourselves at the moment. We've put stuff in the bathroom. That's going to be our safest place at the moment.
The mayor of Montego Bay, on the island's north, says the situation is dangerous.
Once the wind subsided, we started to get a lot of heavy rain, and that has led to massive floods right across the city of Montego Bay. In fact, now we are experiencing a situation where one side of the city is now cut off from the other.
Melissa has now made landfall on the southern coast of neighbouring Cuba. Although it's been downgraded to a Category 3 storm, it's still being described as an extremely dangerous major.
So what I've done is I've gathered a few videos so that you guys can get more insight. There's people watching from different parts of the world and may not really know what's going on. So I'm making awareness. This is all about Jamaica. Let's push this video, let's share this video, and to all the families and friends that are here in the UK and across the world that can come together and support Jamaica and support the families and support the communities. There's roads, there's businesses, there's educational sectors, there's the health sectors that have been destroyed, that have been demolished, that have been hit by the hurricane. So let's try and help these communities today, people. We need to act now, very, 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 very fast and quickly. It's not tomorrow, it's right now. So we need to try and get things across to the families in Jamaica. Electricity is still down in my community in Jamaica. Power supply is really bad there. Internet is really bad there at this time right now. The part of Jamaica where I come from is situated in the country, which is Clarendon, the middle of Jamaica. So there's a lot of farmland, there's a lot of mountains, there's a lot of agriculture. So also that due care is there for the agricultural aspect of the country, because you know that Jamaica is a place that also survives off of its vegetation and its agricultural produces, and that's how the farmers support families and support the economy. So we need to make sure that on a whole that certain things are also in place and rapidly on a speedy recovery, just to keep the infrastructure of the country and the economy of the country going, and the food to be still being provided to families in and around the country. They need all the support that they can get. You understand? Also, some of the local businesses that are there supporting Jamaica for food producers, they might also need support in the sense of parts of their business may have been damaged, so they're on a speedy recovery to get themselves back in motion. And where their business, they might have insurance, so they might have more backup, even more coverage to get things done fastly and quickly. But the families with young children, we need to make sure that these families are safe. We need to make sure that these young children are safe. Do not watch this video and knowing that there's a young child, there's a young family out, there's a family with young kids out there that are facing tragedies like this around the world in Jamaica. So let's get busy, everyone. Yeah, I'm busy right now, and I'm trying to collect donations, trying to collect goods, whether it's clothes, whether it's food kind, to pack a barrel and send it across the waters, people. Yeah, so one love to each and every one of you. Please share the videos, please spread the awareness, and big up yourself. Thank you very much. Good vibes.
Today, as a Category 5 hurricane, the strongest to hit the island since records began in 1851. Category 5 means sustained winds of at least 157 miles per hour. Melissa's were well above this threshold, measured at 185 miles per hour. It weakened as it passed over the island, but the infrastructure damage and flooding is thought to be widespread, with the government describing Jamaica as a disaster area.
Jamaica has gone through what I can call one of its worst periods. Our infrastructure has been severely compromised. St. Elizabeth is the breadbasket of the country, and that has taken a beating.
The full extent of the damage and loss of life will become apparent in the coming hours. Hampering recovery efforts are widespread power outages across the island. The parish of St. Elizabeth in the southeast is one of the worst hit areas. The coastal district is described as being underwater by officials. Power lines leaning precariously over flooded, debris-filled streets, making access for responders difficult. Capital Kingston in the east of the island was spared the eye of the storm, but has still suffered significant damage.
The fact that we take a wide turn and go around, it benefit me. I'm really sorry for who it really touched, because they're my fellow Jamaicans and we are love. Trust me, it's not no joke.
Help is on the way, with aid agencies and foreign governments on standby to support this nation of almost 3 million people.
We know that we will have a lot of commitment coming from overseas. We will have enough hands on board and a very well put together plan to ensure that when supplies are in country, that they are not backing up on the ports.
Melissa was downgraded to a Category 3 hurricane as it made landfall in southeast Cuba on Wednesday morning. Still the strongest hurricane to hit this island since 2017, with sustained wind speeds of up to 120 miles per hour. Over 700,000 Cubans were evacuated, with local authorities declaring a state of alert in 6 eastern provinces.
You're looking at the sea as it is right now. We've had to move things from the house to higher ground. We're sheltering the animals to prevent them from drowning in case the tide rises and the water comes in.
Cuba's president appeared on state TV to warn people of the damage to come.
We want to stress again how big this event is and the need for people to understand the risk it poses because of its scale. These winds can destroy any facility that is not properly prepared, so we are once again asking everyone to use the time left before the hurricane arrives to move to safe areas to face this hurricane.
This hermit nation had already been experiencing a severe economic crisis, with widespread food shortages and regular power outages, worsened by US sanctions and a lack of foreign currency. Soldiers have been deployed to the regions affected, but recovery from this storm will be made all the more challenging without the kind of outside help Jamaica will receive. Neighbouring Haiti is also experiencing the peripheral effects of Melissa, with heavy rainfall and flooding reported. Authorities ordered the closure of schools and businesses on Wednesday. The UN says it will provide assistance in the coming days. The storm will now lose power as it crosses towards Bermuda and the Bahamas before heading off into the Atlantic. Scientists agree that while climate change is not expected to increase the number of hurricanes that strike each year, warmer ocean temperatures will intensify those that do form. And a warmer atmosphere can hold more moisture, meaning storms can produce heavier rainfall and flooding. Sea level rises are also making coastal communities more vulnerable to storm surges. The UN is again issuing warnings over climate change ahead of COP30 in Brazil next month. Only 64 countries have submitted new plans to cut carbon.
I will be keeping everyone updated in regards to family and the situations of what's occurred in my personal community in Jamaica. I will try and get some visuals to actually show you guys the damage of what's happened and some of the families that do need support and do need the repair of building. And there's going to be a lot of repairs right across the community in loads of different families. So let's get together, people, yeah, and put as little as we can just to make ends meet for those that are in need. Thank you very much, everybody, yeah. One love.